Um, just going back real quick to Little Mermaid because reviews for Indy are out, and
Yeah.
as expected, because we expected this, right? It's all over the place. Like even positive reviews to read them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this movie is bad but endearing." It's like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's at 51% Rotten Tomatoes right now. This movie's gonna flop real bad, dude. It was gonna flop real bad, and there's no way around it, unfortunately. Um, and there's no. I'm gonna take my gloves off, Joe. So, and there's no one. There's only, one person to blame, and it's Kathleen Kennedy. Like she's the only person to blame about the reviews for this movie. I think James Mangold is a great director. Um, I think that the him being in the writing team was a big plus, and it's a shame that he was underutilized for this movie, and he was out there kind of like damage controlling it because he didn't want people to think that he was overstepped, but we know like there was massive reshoots for this movie, and if you go back to the rumor that Bob Chapek like got really upset during the screening and demanded more reshoots and started yelling at Kathleen Kennedy before he was let go. I believe it now based on these reviews. I believe it. Um, and now we go back to Willow getting delisted from Disney Plus. Uh, Star Wars still like in limbo. Like projects getting canceled and delayed. We haven't had a movie in years. Now these movies coming out, and how long, dude? Like how long? Like honestly, I don't know what. I think Iger is a smart man. I think this is the time, Bob. Like you got to do what you got to do. I know it sucks, but you got to do what you got to do, and there's no going around it, right? And considering what's going on with this movie, which I think is not gonna do great, a lot of people are gonna skip Little Mermaid. A lot of people skipped Ant Man. Guardians is still doing solid. That's good, right? At least you got 1 out of 5 or whatever, right? Um, as good as Elemental good looks, because I think it looks great. I don't think it's gonna move after Mario, bro. Kids are gonna watch the Mario at home, and you know they're in a very precarious position, right? Honestly, right? Again, I'm taking my gloves off. Like if it weren't for the parks, dude, this company would have merged already with something else. BlackRock, Apple, Amazon, whatever. And um, I don't know. I don't know. You gotta make the tough choices. And Kathleen Kennedy needs to be kicked out of Lucasfilm. Like not only her, but her minions, right? And it's about time. And this is long overdue. And it really stinks that Indy's doing this bad because you had all this time to make it right, but they're adamant about making this the same thing that they did to Luke. It's like okay, so I can pass I can forgive you once, right? But that's it, right? It's like you don't make the same mistake twice, and you're not you cannot build. And we'll talk about PlayStation here in a minute, but you cannot um continue to spit in the face of the people that propped you up and made you who you are. And I respect Kathleen Kennedy as a producer, right? Freaking E.T., Jurassic Park, all these freaking incredible movies, right? Back with Spielberg, Jaws, and all this stuff, right? I respect her I respect her career. But it's been clear since The Last Jedi that she is not the right choice for Lucasfilm. And I mean, again, it it stinks that Bob is in this position, right? That oh, Bob Iger's anti-feminist because he fired Kathleen Kennedy. It's not about that, dude. It's about doing your job well. And you know, I'm I'm done, dude. I'm done. Like I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna keep you know watching Star Wars because I love Star Wars. But I'm not doing it out of respect of what Disney's doing, and I most certainly cannot respect what Kathleen Kennedy has done to Lucasfilm as a whole, right? Um, where you had leading technical studios in ILM and Skywalker Sound, and they're being relegated to like patchwork. When these guys were industry leaders, dude. It's unacceptable, right? So, uh, you know, Disney's got to look at the books and they got to make the tough choices, right? It's they're gonna lay off 2,500 other people. Make one of them Kathleen Kennedy. I'm done. I'm you know, and we've been more than patient, right? I've been more than patient. I've been, I was like, oh, you know what? Let's give benefit of the doubt. I'm good. I've been very soft spoken about this, right? But ultimately, you know, this lady has caused the company billions of dollars in revenue, and that's it. At some point, you just gotta stop it. It's just like you gotta stop the bleeding, right? And you just can't. And again, it's not only her; she's got a bunch of minions over there that gotta go too. And again, I'm not. No, it's anti. It's not that I'm anti woke. I'm probably one of the wokest people I know. I had a real good, I had a real good conversation with my wife about this. So, I, but it's just that when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy's incompetence, because there's no other way, no other words. I'm done. I'm done, dude. I'm not gonna watch Indie. And I didn't watch Willow, and I'm not gonna watch Willow. I guess
You literally can't.
yeah.
It's gone.
So I again will continue to um support Star Wars on a case by case basis at this point, right? And I don't know how the story on Fallen Order goes, but man, freaking breath of fresh air there, dude. Holy crap. Like Andor was to me. So I don't know. I don't know if we got a couple of minutes before we go to break,
Let's
but
let's take a break. We'll come back. I'll talk about it.
okay, let's do that. Let's hold our thoughts. It's gonna be an extended rant and clip. So for sure. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. And we're back. I'm still furious, Joe, but go ahead,
Let's
sir.
keep it going. Let's keep it going. Yeah. So with Indiana Jones, the reviews coming in, it's a 51%. You said right now on Rotten Tomatoes, right?
51, yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing about Rotten Tomatoes. You can't always trust it, right?
I agree. I agree. But
But
Mario's the best example, yeah.
Mars is the best example. Man of Steel, right?
Oh,
Really good
yeah.
examples, right?
Yeah.
But what I take from Rotten Tomatoes is whenever there is reviews and certain type of trend with it, I like to look at what's actually being said, right? Like, why are people saying it's a problem? Because, like with Mario, for an example, the things that you sent me, like, you have the BBC saying, oh, this is kids, you know, are gonna love this. But as a parent, you're gonna, you know, behave yourself for watching this. It's not a direct quote. I'm just saying, like, you sent me the screenshot of what they had said, right? And I had the thing, and I was like, okay, like this is an example of basically someone saying like, oh, it's for kids, not for the adults. Like that's not the reason to give a movie a bad review.
Yeah,
We've had our discussion about
or it's
this.
for the fans. So if you played the games, you'll love it. If not, you're not gonna get much out of it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't make the movie right. Like we've got videos talking about those reviews before on the channel. Definitely check them out. But um, with something like this, the content is more so around saying, "Yo, this doesn't hold up well. This is not a great story. The send off is not good." That kind of a thing, you know, and they're comparing it to the franchise, which it should be, right? Like you already have other Indiana Jones movies to compare. You can say if it's the weakest link, if it's in the middle, or if it's the best one. And right now it's trending pretty low with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, basically
Yeah.
of the ones that people don't like.
Which again, going back to Crystal Skull, right? A movie that I have never watched, because
Wow.
to me, Indy ended with Last Crusade, um,
Yeah.
and back then Disney wasn't involved. This was like straight up Spielberg and Lucas coming off of Episode 3,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
yeah.
So that's just the point. Just, you know, just again, ones that people just didn't like, and that actually had Spielberg and Lucas. So for whatever reason, Indiana Jones just has not worked since, like you're saying, The Last Crusade. Because if you put Spielberg and Lucas on it, like that should have been in theory fantastic, and it just
Absolutely,
wasn't. Right?
absolutely,
You have
yep.
Harrison, all of them. So my point being, when it comes to the Kathleen Kennedy thing, right, is what they should have done, and correct me if I'm wrong, Obed, her contract was up in 2020 or was it 2019? Her contract, and then Chapek was the one who renewed it.
2020, it was,
It was
yeah,
2020.
because
See,
it was 2020 for a 3 year, right?
right. See, that's the thing. I want to find out when exactly her contract ends again, because to me, you have to let her fulfill her contract. You don't cut her before. Here's why. You and I, Obed, as much as we're fanboys, we're
So
also business.
just to clarify, it was published November 16, 2021, that through 2024. So 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 year, right? So through 2024. So you and I, as much as we're fanboys, we're also businessmen. We understand the corporate world. Okay. And I say that a lot of people, fanboys, are just like, just cut her loose, just let her go. And there's times for that. You can do that in business. I'm not saying you can't,
Totally.
but I'm also saying, like, as a business person, you have to understand Kathleen Kennedy is one of the most respected producers in the industry. She has friends.
That's what I
And
said.
she has friends in high places. You take her off and just cut her loose, just say, see that the door hits you on the way out. You are going to cause other producers, other high level people who may have been interested in getting the job before to say, nah, I ain't gonna take
It's
that
gonna be
job.
her pals. It
Because if
doesn't
they do
matter,
that,
Joe. At this
if they
point,
do that, see, but that's the thing that happened with DC. Like you see what happened with Warner. They kept trying to get people and nobody wanted to do it because they saw how bad Warner was handling the property and how bad Warner was handling the creatives. And they went, nah, I ain't going to do that.
yeah. I mean,
You had to get James Gunn,
but then they
who
had to
literally was just
fire Walter Hamada,
they had to fire Walter Hamada.
yeah, that's what you do.
But I'm just, no, I agree. I know, I hear you. I
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's all about the way you do it. Because I'm saying from a business standpoint, like as a fan, we're like, yeah, like, see, that's the problem. It's them. But people on the outside, all they see it as is, hey, you just let a creative go who was a huge name in the industry. There's ramifications. My point is, she should have never had that contract extended
The extension,
after Rise of Skywalker.
absolutely.
That's where they messed up.
Yep.
So us calling for it now, totally fair. But what we really should be upset about is that in 2020 they didn't say
Yeah.
you're done.
Like it was,
Bring in the next person. That's it.
yeah.
Shake of hands. Thank you for completing the Skywalker trilogy, a sequel trilogy, whether you like it or not.
Yep.
Appreciate your efforts and go.
Like many
The
other
fact-
like many other things ruined by Bob Chapek.
Right. No, seriously, it's a bad trend. So now Iger's put in a position of saying my
Like
predecessor.
it's I was gonna go off of our usual like PG script here for a second, but
family friendly.
it's like Bob's F up was so was so epic, right? That it had like personal impact.
Seriously.
Like putting
Yeah.
it out there, right?
Yeah.
It had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
like it,
No,
it,
you're
it
right.
like it freaking like it didn't only impact, this movies and Kathleen Kennedy staying, like financially it impacted us too.
Oh,
Like
yeah. Yeah, bro.
it did. It
It's
did. It did.
it has affected the entire business. It has affected the state we reside in. It's affected a lot of things. Let's
Hmm.
just call it like it is, right? So I'm just saying, like, that's where people are so caught on just getting her out. But we have to replay history and understand, like, as a business, that was the times I've done it the right way, and just say, look, thanks. Now you, like I mentioned before with Star Wars Celebration, you have somebody who has three different films that they are a producer and a creative on. Would you, it's almost like coming in, like, use a sports analogy, right? You if you come into a sports team and you're the coach, what does a coach do? He fires the past coaching staff and he brings in a new coaching staff with him, right? It's the same thing that you would think here. Are you going to kill all those projects you just announced the Star
I don't know,
Celebration is going to
man.
be gone?
Cleveland kill. No, fired their coach mid-season, and then LeBron won the championship that year.
It can't
You
happen. I'm
know,
not saying.
It's
I'm
like,
not saying.
what, or was it that year or the following year? Right?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Come on.
so I was, I can, but I'm just saying, like, are you gonna literally, like, you Star Celebration's gone for the next 2 years,
Yeah.
right? Are you gonna you just paid tons of money for your biggest fan marketing event? Are you gonna kill those off and bring someone new in? I don't know. I'm not saying that's a yes or no. It's just things to think about. That people just with the ramifications of these choices. We should have never gone to this point. Should never have happened.
Yeah. No.
That's all I gotta
Absolutely.
say. I think her fate, though, will be sealed with this movie. All that's to be said. If this movie does well, who cares about bad reviews? She's gonna stick around. It just needs to not underperform. Is it gonna underperform? Probably. This is why I think her fate will be sealed. Like we talked about
Crystal
Mario.
Skull
Mario could have
underperformed.
50. Crystal Skull underperformed.
Yeah.
Look at Mario, right? Mario could have a 50% or whatever it was, but the movie's one of the biggest movies of all time.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're gonna stick around. So she brought it out really boldly, brought it out at Cannes Film Festival, probably thinking this is gonna win great awards and be loved by these people. That's not a usual thing for a big studio
Did you hear?
blockbuster
Did
type
you
film.
hear that people were like talking during the movie?
Yeah, yeah. It's bad. It's bad. So yeah, this Indiana Jones rant is a lot, but it covers a lot more than just
No,
Indiana
yeah,
Jones.
no. It's
This
one of
is
the it's
ramifications.
one of the main focuses of No Load Time. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, Star Wars is one of our main focuses and has been since the beginning, right?
yeah,
And all this comes back to that, right? And I'm done. Like I'm done. Softballing them, and oh, here's a little jab here with a sock and bopper. No, I'm done. Like
yeah,
close off, and if they mess up, they mess up, right? If we're being, I think we're being more than fair with our assessment of what's come out on Disney Plus, right?
Oh,
And
I think so.
we've already voiced our opinions on Boba Fett and the last this past season of Visions, and all the other shows that had come out, and we've been very centered and very fair with our assessment on those shows, right? And even going back as to Rise of Skywalker, like we joke around. Still have my
Yeah, yeah,
Last Jedi hat, and I still wear my Rise of Skywalker shirt for the podcast every once in a while.
sure.
But and we know it's not right. It's not great. It's not great.
Yeah, we know, we know.
We do it because we love Star Wars. But at the end
Yeah,
of the day, um, you have to fight for what you love. It's like
hundred
it's
percent.
at the end of the day. So, and again, I respect her career because it's undeniable her impact,
I
right?
don't think anyone even has to challenge her career or
Absolutely
challenge.
not.
I don't even challenge her personally. I think she really does believe in what she's doing.
Yeah.
It's when you have someone above you who's supposed to keep you in checks and balances and they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the problem lies. It's too free willy, too free for all. Chapek should have never let this happen at this point. Let her finish her trilogy.
Yeah.
I actually think that was the right thing. Let that finish out, whether you like it or not. Check in, try, whatever. You have no one to blame but you. You had Lucas's blessing. Now it's what it is. You got to face it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. Very
I will see the
yeah.
movie though. We look out for a no time
Yeah,
review for it.
I know you will. I know you will. I won't.
Yeah,
I'm good.
that's okay.
I'm
That's
good.
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm probably not even gonna even watch it when it comes out on Disney Plus. Like I said,
Wow.
I didn't watch Crystal Skull. I have zero interest in watching this movie.
Wow.
As and it sucks because Raiders of the Lost Ark is probably top 10 for me, dude.
It's really good. So
And
good.
you know, as divisive as Temple of Doom was, I enjoyed it and loved that movie when I was a kid. And Last
The monkey
Crusade,
brains.
yeah, and I think that Last Crusade is really a good cap on all of it. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna support this project. Like I'm not gonna watch it. I want to go out, not even out of like passing interest. I'm done. So